Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Trackmania channel once again for episode 3 of the Trackmania Weekly Show, the Trackmania Grand League Weekly Show even. I'm Thomas Mengozi, aka GGeek, and alongside me as ever is SinasAppel. How you doing, Sinas?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Geek, and yeah, another week of Trackmania. Yeah, can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, of course. Here at the Trackmania Grand League Show, we're going to be here to discuss, of course, the events of the previous weekend. And the previous weekend, of course, we had Step 3 of the Grand League Challenger and of the Trackmania Grand League as well. And this is what we're going to be talking about. Starting off with a couple of firsts, of course, during the Trackmania Grand League history. Of course, we do have a few fun facts about that coming to you thanks to none other than Ida Koldal himself. We'll discuss, of course, Step 3, the map pack, how the races went, how it went potentially from the point of view of our players, including from spam, well, through Sinas, which I'm pretty sure you've seen the tweets, and yeah, you kind of have an idea of what's going on. But also, we'll get to discuss the ranking, and we have 2 interviews planned for you guys with some of the TMGL players. We have, first of all, Granadi, of course, your brand new championship leader after step number 3, and afterwards there will be, of course, Scrappy coming in, who finished the runner-up of this step with 248 points. So yeah, he will be someone pretty interested. He had a couple of really good steps in the past one. After a pretty shaky step 1, he managed to rebound and find his footing, and yeah, we'll get to hear from him. Afterwards, we'll get a little bit of a preview of the 4th step happening this Sunday with the brand new map called Launchpad that has been launched, of course, right after the step ended on Sunday. We'll also get a little bit of an interview with one of the Challenger players. We'll get to speak with Otak from Neil Esports, who won Step 3 last week and currently sits 2nd in the standings. And finally, we'll also get a little bit of a recap of how the Challenger step went, as well as a bit of a sneak peek, well, as a bit of a recap of how the Grand League Open went as well. And finally, and that will be the end of the show. So you get the basic lowdown of the entire program of the show laid out right here. I know it was a bit much. Sometimes I need to rephrase it. I mean, that's just the way I talk, and I kind of get around with it. But yeah. So, before we actually talk about Step 3, before me and Sinas talk about Step 3, I guess it's a good time for you to actually see the highlights and remnants of some of the favorite moments from this step. So, we're going to give you the top 10 highlights from step number 3, and fair warning for volume at the end of the video, and I think you might know why.
Peut-être qu'il y a une pénalité pour ceux qui freinent à la fin, je suis pas sûr. Je pense que tu fais ce que tu veux, c'est stratégique. Là après, laisser le x2 à Granadi qui est juste derrière, c'est pas la meilleure des idées. Et Papou qui va prendre le x2.
Get yourself airtime and then the risky line. Gwen, Binks, and also Pack going for it. Pack with the respawn, drifting too much, and this was not good. Pack down to P15 with that. So he loses a bit of speed, and Worka also with a good flip, but doesn't have the best amount of speed. Pack gets it a little bit better, and Pack is actually overtaken Worka there as well. Pack from P number 14 to P number 4. And he could already close it out here, but of course there's still 2 more laps to go. Also here, very wide approach. Look at the speed from Pack, and now he will jump. Pack will jump as well as Scrappy, and that is a good line.
Yeah, no airtime through the triangle. Spam clips a little bit. Bren will get closer. Bren is making Spam have to work for this one. It's only a car length. Bren goes very tight, and he overtakes first place. Will Bren snipe it in the ending? Bren takes it away from Spam on the final straight.
My heartbeat would rise now tremendously, but Pack makes it. What time will that be? Is 7:43.8. That is the equivalent of 2nd world record.
So, einmal, die kann er doch eigentlich safe. Oh, er macht so safe. Oh, ist das schön.
So, letzte Röhre.
Ja, er macht's ganz safe. Schön.
Dreh dich, bitte. Mann.
Ja, buh.
Es sieht wirklich so aus.
Oh nein.
Und Granadi ist getoucht, ist aber nicht so schlimm in dem Wasser hier. Was, Affi?
Affi hin.
Steckt ihr sich Granadi ein oder rückt ihr den If? Nein, er steckt sich ein. Jawohl, Mann.
Let's go. Mal 2.
For this final lap. One more time across the identity. Brand and Papu side by side, but Granati has more speed, and he's going to close his gap down to just 1 car length before the last 3 drifts here. Brand still in the lead. Who's going to get the most speed here? Granati is closing in the gap, but Brand still has the lead. Will he hold it all the way across? Oh, he will.
It's super close, top 3, but
Scrappy reeling in Afi at the moment. It's going to come down to the identity. Who's going to get the ballsiest line? Ballsy line from Scrappy, carrying so much speed. Look at this. Going into the lead before the second div. And look at this. He actually slides off. Afi with the chance to the line. It's going to be Scrappy by 7 thousandths.
Die muss jetzt wirklich schnitzen. Ja, hat er auch. Oh, maybe. Oh mein Gott, das wird ganz eng. Das wird eine ganz enge Nummer. Oh!
Das ist so schlecht, ich muss gleich kotzen. Oh, ist mir schwindelig.
Oh mein Gott, jetzt Outside, jetzt voll Outside.
Ich kippe!
Let's go!
Oh mein Gott!
The audience is now deaf. But yeah, so I told you about the clip at the end. But yeah, those have been, of course, your top 10 highlights for last week's step, and I guess we should get stuck in right in there with the map selection that we had for this week. Also, that's the wrong graphic. Hold on, there we go. You saw a little bit of a sneak peek of the program. Make sure you can actually screenshot that. We'll talk about it at the end of the show, of course. But here was your map pack for Step 3. Barrelistic on its 3rd and final outing here this season, being our opening race, followed by On the Edge by Popwet's Pole Party, by Histo, Vertigo, then by Popwet, which was its first use as a 6-lapper, and then the brand new map Poolside by Kisla. And it's fair to say that map 5 provided a bit of an interesting race. We saw plenty of close rounds that you saw in the highlights during the final rounds, but other than that, yeah, the map pack seemed to be pretty heterogenic. Well, we had a pretty close race to the finish with the with On the Edge and Bren managing to edge out the rest for the win. And yeah, also Barrelistic, I want to make a special mention for that. Granati having put a pretty strong performance and kicking off his step right off the right way with winning the race. And yeah, it feels like we've had some pretty interesting rounds and pretty interesting races overall. I don't know how you feel about that, Sinas, but that's the way I feel about it, at least.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Barrelistic will be a map that will be missed for Granadi and Muda a little bit. They were really good on all the steps on this map. I thought Vertigo was very interesting to watch in a 6-lapper format, and then of course Poolside, which was a really interesting 2-lapper format where there were so many. What the most interesting part about that map was that there's so many different lines that were taken by the players. We had water bounces, we had outside jump lines over dirt, you name it. There were so many different lines, and that was really interesting to watch. So very nice 2x map for this step.
Yeah, it is indeed a very nice 2x. Now, with this week, we're going to be, of course, seeing it, of course, transition from the 2-lapper to the 6-lapper. And I kind of want your opinion on that. How do you reckon this is going to happen? Do you reckon it's going to be chaos for the entirety of the race like we saw in Vertigo? Or do you think it'll be maybe a bit more refined as we actually get our first 6-lapper race in there?
Yeah, definitely a lot safer lines, especially in the identity. More releases, I'd have to assume, because we saw a lot of people going really hard in the identity and just losing grip when you come out of the water again. This kind of stuff is really what you want to avoid in 6-lapper formats, so I'm sure that there are going to be some more releasing there. But other than that, yeah, I'm interested to see if people will keep going for no slides, or maybe a slide or a water bounce. We'll have to see what the superior line will be.
Yeah, I'll also be interesting about saying that. Now, of course, we can't help but talk about the results. And the very first fun fact brought to you by Ari Holdell, well, a bit of history being made. Massa has won Step 3, and in doing so, he is the very first German driver to have taken a regular season step win in the Trackmania Grand League history. He won 390 points at the end of the stage, and it started off really, really well for him, scoring 78 points over the course of the first 4 races, never dropping out of the top 8 even once during the entire stage. 8th on Barrelistic with fastest lap, 4th on the Edge, 8th on Pole Party, and then of course race win with the fastest lap on Vertigo, before winning the 8th and final round in a really, really close match versus Spam. Then, of course, we can't, pass up on the other contenders that finished on the podium. First up is Scrappy, who's had a pretty good step all around, building up from his earlier finish on step 2. And yeah, he's had a pretty good step overall. Well, bar from race 1, where he finished in P14, collecting only 2 points for his effort on Barrelistic. Then the next 3 races, he finished 3rd 3 times in a row. 3rd on the Edge, 3rd on Pole Party, 3rd on Vertigo, allowing him to get 62 points on the entry to map 5. And he won round 7, which allowed him to collect the precious ×4 multiplier, allowing him to score 248 points to put himself in 2nd position. And then the 3rd and final man on the podium is, of course, none other than Granadi, starting off strong with a race win on Barrelistic, 2 consecutive 2nd places then on the Edge and Pole Party. And Vertigo, well, he was in contention for P2, but unfortunately 1 lap from the end at the reactor boost, unfortunately was on the wrong side and fell off, forcing him to respawn and sending him down to P11. But then on full side, he decided to potentially go for a bit of a safer one. We'll get a bit of a word on that from the man himself in the best part of 5 minutes. He's right there with us. He's just waiting for us to actually get the call up. But yeah, poolside, he managed to win a ×2 multiplier, allowing him to score 144 points for his efforts, entering with a final lap with 72 points, and thus finishes in 3rd place. Now let's take a look at the rankings. And again, another first and plenty of interesting things. Granadi takes the lead in the standings, the very first German driver to do so in Grand League history, and it's also the fastest that a rookie has ever taken the lead in Grand League history. He took the lead after only the first 3 steps. The previous record was actually held by Gwen back in fall of last year, who took the lead after the 5th step of the regular season in what was his rookie season, of course, for the driver from Team Game Worn. Massa, with his win and his big points collection, has moved up from 11th to 2nd, a 9-place gain overall in the ranking, making for a German 1-2. Afi, our previous leader, drops down to 3rd place. Top 8 is then consisting of Orel, Scrappy, Bren, Papu, and Bings. Nice mention for Scrappy, who moved up from P9 to P5 with his particular good result. And then towards the bottom end of the scoreboard, well, on the second half, we have Carl Jr., Mada, Pack, Spam, Worker, Gwen, Kappa, and Tween. And yeah, coming from Kappa, it definitely was a rotten step for him. 11 points for him over the course of the first 4 races. Not really able to catch up on the multipliers, and he said it himself, it felt very frustrating, and yeah, he kept making on mistakes that he was very frustrated with, and he reckons himself that now is the point of no return. No more bad placings are any option anymore if he wants to actually make it to the playoffs, which is of course the main goal of anyone here.
Yeah, we have the standings. I've seen some people pointing it out in the chat already. Germany is winning. Basically, I think this... wow, just 1 and 2. That's pretty crazy. Very good performance by both of these players. Granada we'll be talking to soon. Can't wait for that one. Yeah, honestly, the players that have been playing well are on the top of the standings. That's nice to see. I think especially Massa's step from for this step was incredible. Like you said already, never out of top 8. Get the 5x as well. Really cool.
Yeah, it was definitely a really good step for Massa, which was kind of needed after the trials and tribulations, of course, of the previous seasons that he has encountered. And another fun fact that I completely missed, this time in regards to map wins or race wins, I guess we can call it on 6-lappers. Entering step 3, we had 2 people who were tied with most race wins at 33, those being Carl Jr. and Pack. Well, Pack has now become the man with the most race wins in the Grand League history, having collected his 34th map win. And now let me check which map he actually got, because of course I don't remember any of that stuff. Smooth brain. But yeah, Pack has won indeed one of the maps. He won Pole Party along with the fastest lap, almost setting a brand new world record. I completely forgot about that. It was in the highlights. Map 3 on Pole Party, he almost set a brand new 6-lapper world record, collecting his 34th map win and thus becoming the winningest 6-lapper driver in the league's history. Now, with that little tidbit of info out of the way and the cliff notes of Step 3 out of the way as well, I guess we can actually... I don't know, my brain making up words like that, but yeah, I guess we can switch over to our first guest. Now, I hope everything is going to be set up all right.
Switch over to our guest. I agree with that one.
Yeah, and yeah, let me get his camera in a few seconds. I completely forgot to set that up. Smooth rain. Very, very English of me. Don't worry about it. And ladies and gentlemen, we should get him any second now. Hey, there he is. Your brand new championship leader, Granadi, is right there with us. Welcome back to the weekly show. You've only been out for 1 week and you're back again. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm surprised to be back here again, but it's of course nice. And yeah, I'm doing well. What about you?
We're doing pretty good. Having a pretty good night overall here, and really pleased to have you here on the weekly show. Now, pretty much like 2 weeks ago, I'm not going to be the one asking the questions. It's going to be, of course, my mate Sinas, who's going to be doing the round of questions. So, off to you.
Hey, Granadi, welcome. So, yeah, going well for you, I'd have to say. You get a couple of good steps. You're now on top of the leaderboard. And now, what's happening here? You also win Cup of the Day today? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's actually true, yeah. I'm more surprised about being on the top of the TMGL leaderboard, though. But
oh, okay. Yeah, well, after seeing you play the last couple of steps, I'm not that surprised. Your performance is, well, really good. And this shows now on the scoreboard. How do you feel being the number one?
It's a bit weird, to be honest, because I wasn't even close to expecting that. Like, I think I already said it 2 weeks ago. Like, my original goal was just to stay in the league, and my, like, my optimal goal, let's put it that way, would be to get playoffs. And now I'm, for some reason, on first place. It's kind of crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, you're overshooting your goal a little bit here, but, you know, that's surprise to the upside is fine. Let's see here. You have every step so far, you've secured a multiplier. But you're also very strong on the 6-lappers. I mean, that combined, of course, gets you a lot of points, which is why you're first. But what do you feel more comfortable on? If you do you feel more comfortable on the 2-lappers or on the 6-lappers?
I definitely feel more comfortable on the 6-lappers because I'm more of a consistent player. Like, I'm good at just saving and not doing many mistakes. And this, being a safe player, often results in not being the fastest player. So before the season started, I was just not expecting to get that many multipliers. Like, now I already have 3 out of 3. Like, that's actually crazy. And yeah, I'm actually quite surprised about that. But it's also because the maps are pretty good this season, and I luckily have enough time to practice. So yeah, it's working out really well. I'm quite surprised, but it's of course good.
Yeah, exactly. Because you say you're more of a safe player. Do you feel like you're a little bit on the lucky side getting the 3 triple multipliers, the 3 multipliers so far, or is it something else?
It kind of depends. Like this Sunday on step 3, I think I finished with a time of 220 point something, which is not a good time on that map. I think it was the worst multiplier time overall in the 8 rounds. So I was a bit lucky there. But then, for example, on Vertigo, I think I did the best time that was done in the 8 rounds. So it always depends on the maps. Of course, you always need a bit of luck. For example, you can also see it with Aurel in the first step. He also got a bit paypalled by Kappa there. So yeah, there is a bit of luck involved in that system, but you also still need to do good, of course. So it's kind of a mixture, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, you can only get the really big multiplier if your step before that was already really good, right?
Exactly. Like, if you have really bad points before, even the ×5 multiplier will still give you a good step, but it will not give you one of those extremely good steps like Massa had it this week or Aurel had it in the first week, for example. So you need to be good at both to have like a really sick step.
Exactly. And well, you're now the leader of the TMGL after 3 steps. We have 8 in total, 5 more to go. Is there anything that is going to change in your well, training or approach for the rest of the season?
I mean, so far it's going quite well with my approach, so I have like no reason to change it. But I'm still, like, I'm also always watching my POV after I played the step to still improve a bit, to find some small details, what I could do better. And I think it worked out quite well so far. Like, although this week was my lowest amount of points with 144, I still felt like I drove the best, actually. Especially on the 6-lappers, I drove more consistent than ever. And so I'm still a bit changing my approach to the maps and so on, but in general, I'm just keeping with my strategy right now because, as I said, it's working out well. Like, I have no reason to change it.
Yeah, I mean, it's already an interesting note that, well, your worst step is 144. That's pretty good. But also that you're first without having one of those mega steps like Massa and Aurel had. So that is saying something about your performance so far. Definitely. Now you are first, so other people are lower on the standings. And I want to talk a little bit about how do you feel about, well, being so far ahead of Carl Jr., Peck, and Gwen right now?
I mean, you kind of need to differ a bit. Like Gwen, for example, is of course an insane player, and if he would fully practice, he would probably demolish me. Like, there's no doubt about that. Like, he is just insane, but he's just not practicing that much. I don't know why, if he just has no time or no motivation, I don't know. But if he would fully practice, he would do really well. And I mean, if you don't practice in the TMGL, even if you are a really good player, it's hard to get top 8. And I think it's somewhat the same for Carl Jr. I mean, I think he did get a multiplier at least this week and also in the first week. It was only ×2, but still, like, Carl Jr. is also not fully practiced, I believe. But Peck is kind of a different thing. Like, I don't know if you guys saw it also, if the chat saw it. Eric Holder posted on Twitter basically the amount of points that people had without multipliers, so only counting the 6-lappers. And on the table, I'm actually first, equaled with Peck with 194 points, but now I'm first and Peck is only 11th, I believe. So Peck is like really unlucky with the multipliers, and the system is just in a way that you kind of need them to do really well. So for Peck, it's really unfortunate. I don't know why that's happening, but for Peck, I'm pretty sure that he's gonna have that one Aurel or Massa step where he's just gonna get good 6-lappers again as usual, but then also gets like a solid multiplier. And yeah, so it's kind of weird being so much ahead of Peck in the system, in the leaderboard, although he's driving exactly as good as me in the 6-lappers. It's just the multiplier that has a big impact there.
Yeah, that's a very good point and very interesting stats as well, to see that you tie with Peck there and you're first and Peck is 11th, which is a very big difference. But yeah, Peck did not get any multipliers, if I remember correctly. So
not yet, no.
Sorry, I was muted. But so yeah, people did not hear that. But yeah, of course. I mean, it wouldn't be a stream produced by me if I didn't mute myself and did not unmute at least once accidentally. But yeah, as I said, the tweet has been posted by Femika in the chat a little bit earlier. And yeah, it is of course a tweet by none other by Eirik. TMGL Fall 2021 without multiplier. He's done it for step 3. He'll do it for the next steps, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
actually, interesting enough. He also did it the opposite way with only the points that people got through multipliers. On that one, for example, I'm not that high up actually. I'm only like 6th or 7th, so
4th.
It's actually pretty interesting to see. Oh, yeah, okay.
4th, yeah, it was 316.
Not that bad then, but yeah, it's still kind of interesting to see actually. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, good sets, and it's always fun to see that because you can really see where your points are coming from. But let's talk a little bit about the new map, Launchpad, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Some ice is on there as well, and we have well, a really interesting identity. How do you have you trained it a little bit already?
Yes, I already did quite some practice. I'm not fully practiced, but like 3 hours maybe. So I already know what's going on.
Okay, and do you think this is gonna be a map where you can secure a multiplier?
It's definitely a very interesting map for me because first of all, it's not like your usual good quality map. I mean, it's built by Softy. Softy is not a mapper, so it's a bit of a wild map. I would rather put it into the category of Barrelistic and Vertigo, for example. So the map has a lot of sections, or basically it has 2 key sections. One of them is the ice part. Ice always is a key section on every map. As soon as there's ice on the map, it's automatically one of the most important parts because you can just gain and lose a lot of time. And yeah, on the other hand, also the identity is quite precise. It's basically like, for those of you that don't know, it's like a reactor flight path thingy. It's super wild, and also there you can gain a lot of time, and the difference between getting it good and getting it very good is like more than half a second, so it's kind of crazy. And one other special thing about me on this map, some of you might also know it, before the ice section there is a Neo slide and also the ice section. They are basically it's basically a part which definitely favors keyboard because I can't do the neo slide with my wheel. And on ice, it's also faster to have binary input basically. So I am gonna do a keyboard switch on the map. So I'm basically gonna switch to keyboard while driving, and then I'm gonna switch back. So that's also kind of a fact that makes it a bit more difficult for me. But overall, I would still say that it's a map I can do good on. It's not as good as Vertigo, for example, but I think I definitely have a shot. I feel more comfortable than on Poolside, for example, and there I also got the multiplier, so I think I can get it.
All right. And one last question. Barrelistic is a map that will be rotating out now. So far, you've done, well, terrific on that map. Yeah, sad to see it go, I guess.
Yeah, Paints Champ. Like, that was by far my best map. It always was like a point garant. Is that a word? I don't know, but I always had, like, when Barrelistic came up, I knew, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have some solid points after that. Because I just felt, like, extremely comfortable on that map. It just was, like, it was made for me. And it's kind of bad that it's going out now, but I think in this step, I also showed that I can do good on the other maps, so...
Yeah.
It's maybe not too good that it's out, but it's not like my whole points are gone now because the map is out. I can still do good, I would say. I hope at least.
All right. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for your time. Good luck in the upcoming steps. Yeah, and we'll see you next time in the show, I guess.
Yeah, I hope
We
so.
hope so.
Thanks for having me.
We hope
again.
to see you again. Thank you very much again for your time, Granati, and yeah, good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
So that was our first interview with Granati. Up next should be Scrappy. I'm just okay, so apparently there are Scrappy does have a few issues. I'm just gonna be telling him to join in another way. I'll just give me a second.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, Granati's interview was very interesting. I mean, he seems very happy with his performance so far, which of course, yeah, I mean, he is first, so that makes sense. Seeing the chat already, the Scrappy fans in chat already.
Okay, so we do, apparently there was an issue with Scrappy's camera, so unfortunately you won't get to see his face. I'm really sorry about this. Well, it's beyond my control. It was an error on Scrappy's side that kind of prevented that from happening, but yeah, you guys will still get to hear his voice either way. So, can you confirm you hear us?
Hello?
Hello? Okay,
Hey.
so we're good. Let me just switch over to the interview scene real quick. Well, no, if I can switch to the
Just,
interview scene, that would be.
Just put a nice IA there. That would be working.
Well, we're gonna go with a black screen. We'll do
okay.
II in post. Don't worry about it. But
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah, that's a beautiful, just a blank screen staring into the void. But yeah, jokes aside and technical issues aside, how are you doing, Scrappy?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Yeah, all good here.
All good, all good. All right. So I'm not doing the round of questions here. It's gonna be Sinas who's gonna be doing this. So again, I'll just leave it to you.
Yo, Scrappy, what's up? Welcome. Thanks for thanks for your time here. Let's immediately get into it. We have, well, if you look at the performance of your 3 steps so far, it's a straight line up, stonks, I would say, especially this step that we just had, step number 3. You had a huge multiplier in step 2 and now 3 as well. Do you think the 2-lapper format, the 2-lapper part of the step is more favored towards your playstyle or the 6-lapper part?
I think they're both fine. I just had to get used to the 6-lapper again because it's been so long since we played 6 laps. I mean, the last season was like, I don't know, 8 months ago. So I wasn't used to playing safe anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, 2-lap pace, definitely. So far, every time I felt pretty nice about the pace, although that 5x multiplier on Vertigo, that was not pace, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess there was a little bit of luck involved as well. I mean, we saw the final one, we were like, what on earth just happened there? And yeah, I wondered, how did you actually react during step 2 when you got the multiplier on Vertigo? Were you kind of surprised, or were you just like, huh, and then just took the line?
So I tend to be active in my Discord during the steps, and as the 2x rounds passed, or the 3x rounds passed, I was like, yeah, guys, we need to hope for a miracle. And then I saw everyone saying, yeah, miracle is gonna happen. And then I'm a player that always has hot on, and when I see no one in the checkpoints, I'm like, huh?
Well, that's your miracle right there.
yeah, and then yeah, actually happened. I didn't believe on getting a multiplayer on Vertigo because I did not have the pace on that map to really think I could beat them, because I knew I think there was players like Massa still in, or no, wait, he did save. I remember, but I definitely did not have the pace in training. My PB was over a second behind the best players, and I was like, okay. I did play decent because the 4x round I was still close, but yeah, didn't expect it.
Yeah, but hey, if you are the only player not making any mistakes, you get the multiplier, and that is what you did. So congratulations on that one.
To finish first, you have to finish. That's all there is to
exactly.
say.
And yeah, well, you mentioned it already, getting used to 6 lappers once again. Is this what happened in step 1, and which is why step 2 and 3 went a lot better for you?
Yeah, also step 1, I'm pretty sure, considering amount of training, I was like bottom of the field. Because I was like, okay, step 1, everyone is gonna know live and spend a lot of time because the maps are out earlier, etc, etc. So for me, it's like, in my mind, it's like a slow thing of catching up, because I only really practiced like a lot on the last map, on the multiplayer map for the first step, and now it's slowly, these maps are getting rotated in the stronger I can get in the steps, because I didn't practice the maps that were out initially for the 6 laps a lot.
Okay, and yeah, we now have in step 3 a podium of a lot of German speaking players. Is there anything going on there? Are you guys training together maybe, or what happened?
Not really. That was all, I don't know. Everyone stepped it up for that one.
All right. Yeah, did your training change in any way with the new format? Now that we have a 2-lapper where we really, you have to go for the first place. That is something new in this format, of course, compared to the last season. Is there any way you prepare differently for the new map?
I'm just practicing more on the new maps. Like, it was like that before, that always the old maps were trained less, and you obviously focus on the new map because there was point loss and you had to be good on the last map as well. But I think now it's even more so that you only focus on that map. For myself especially, like I only train 1 or 2 days a week, and then I just nearly only focus on the new map, and the other ones I do like 2 6-lappers and that's it, or I try to do 2 6-lappers, and yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I guess sometimes that can be enough, like last time. Yeah. Then we have the new map Launchpad. What do you think about that one?
I've only really seen it on stream so far. I don't know how it feels. It definitely looks like not as professionally built as the others, more like a troll map. It has all elements Trackmania has to offer. I think I've seen every surface in there, so there's that. But I don't know. It looks like there's not gonna be as many tricksters as it was last time. It's like the last multiplayer map we had.
Yeah, exactly. All the water and the plastic and the water bounce and stuff like that. This one seems a lot more straightforward, right?
Yeah, for me, looking at people play it, I haven't looked myself, but I like only barely looked myself. I don't think there's a lot of tricksters in this.
Yeah, and we have a little bit of ice there. Do you feel comfortable on ice, especially in a TMGL setting?
Yeah, definitely. I don't have issues with ice. It's obviously at a part where it's flat ice, and I think it might be faster to do keyboards. With the Neo slide beforehand, I cannot switch to keyboard, so I just have to take like the 0.1 loss on controller there.
Yeah, well, okay, unlucky, I guess. So now you've shot up on the standings here and really climbing as well. What are your goals for the rest of the season?
We'll have to see how it goes. This week is gonna be a bit. I don't expect too much this week. Next week gonna be another attack week, and then afterwards it's all I'll have to see. Probably a week afterwards I will not be in good condition to play anymore because I have a surgery coming up. And yeah, I just pray to stay. But if I stay to playoffs, I'm happy. If I stay in the league, I'm also happy. As long as I don't drop into relegation, it's all fine to me.
Yeah, that is fair enough. Then yeah, I wish you well. Well, I guess it's not really the best time to say, but I hope that your surgery goes well when it happens and that you'll get a speedy recovery.
Exactly. I just hope it goes fast. I don't have to, well, be out of commission for too many days, so I can do the weekend. I'm fine on the next weekend, but yeah. Nobody knows. It can be one day. It can be a week. It can be more. Who knows?
Okay, well, good luck with that one. At least you have prepared going into it with gathering a lot of points beforehand, so you have a little bit of a buffer on that.
Exactly. I feel way more calm now with the last step, like seeing these points. Don't know if I'm pretty sure. Could be around that where the mark is for the bottom 4, I guess, but hard to tell.
All right, and I think we're running out of time here, so thank you, Scrappy, for your time, and I wish you good luck in the upcoming steps.
Yeah, thank you very much again, and good luck on Sunday.
All right, I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that was your interview with Scrappy, and those were your interviews with TMGL players. We're really sorry for that last-minute problem that cropped up on the Scrappy stream. I really would have wished that we had the camera set up, but unfortunately, there were a few issues on his side with the room that we use, so we were forced to resort to audio only. But yeah, it was still nice to actually hear from him and actually kind of hear from his perspective, especially how step 2, how the final round of step 2 went for him, because I was pretty curious. I was like, how did he react? Did he actually toggle hot on, or did he just go full hot up for the entire round? Because I would totally understand if someone went full hot up and full focus in the final round of the final 3-lapper.
Yeah, but as you can see, a lot of players, and Scrappy as well, are HUD-on players that actually look at the checkpoints and stuff like that, which to me is a little bit distracting, but I guess some people can handle that, and it is very useful to know, right? In a situation like we had in step number 2 for Scrappy, where you know you can kind of save. That makes a difference, because otherwise you might risk the finish, even though you had it already in the bag and then you fail. It would be very unfortunate if that were to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to gauge your pace, but also it can be a bit of a distraction. Also, well, it can go both ways as well for hot off or on. Even if you temporarily flick your hot on, you can just take it at the wrong time and small lapse of concentration, and your run is completely done for. With that out of the way, I guess we should take a little bit of a gander at step 4 that is upon us, and we're going to start off, of course, with the map preview that was released on Monday. Was it on Monday or was it yesterday? I can't really remember, but it has been released, of course, on the official Trackmania Grand League YouTube channel about the last map for this step. It is, of course, Ubisoft Nadeo's very own Launchpad. Well. That's an interesting identity. I'll be honest, I tried to play the map once or twice, never managed to complete a single lap clean. And I never managed to get through the identity the intended way. That's it. That's all I can say about it. But yeah, pretty interesting map. Yeah, very, very unique identity, let's say that, with, of course, the flight into the rings, and also you kind of have to pitch your car midway through the 2 ring CPs in order to set yourself up for the other reactor ring that you kind of have to go through for a smooth landing on the finish line. Very interesting, much more mixed than we have. We have a lot more ice than we had in the previous maps. I mean, we only had like 1 ice patch on Eurosky 2, and that was it. Yeah, that was just the index, not the other finger. But but yeah, of course we do have a sequence of ice corners. We've got plastic also being used. We have also got grass. We got different kinds of grass. We got block grass. We got the standard grass as well that gets used. Plenty interesting blend in terms of this map. You trying to get yourself a little bit of a feel for it as well before the show, and also going through while watching the onboard, which we'll get to see a little bit later. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, seems interesting. I thought playing it for a little bit that it was a good map, but hearing from the interviews, there are some, let's say, mixed reactions to the map so far. But hey, yeah, I think it's cool to see a really mixed style map where we have plastic, we have ice, we have a grass uphill, you name it. Yeah, we see something different in the map, you know, and that's cool to see. So I like that. The identity, we'll have to see how consistent that one is. I'm sure that the TMGL players will figure something out, and they will be fine. But yeah, it's very unique, at least.
Yeah, you're right about consistency. They'll find a way to make something pretty consistent, or maybe the map is made so that if you're trying to go through the intended way, might be a bit of a gamble. Sometimes you might end up missing the final ring, like the reactor ring at the end of it, or you might just completely bonk at one of the ring CPs. It seems like a pretty easy identity to mess or line up in. Like just for the second CP ring alone, you could just be 1 pixel off and you're completely gone. You're complete goner by the time you're actually at the ring. So yeah, it is definitely going to be pretty interesting to see this map. And I guess that leads us to, well, to the onboard. We do have a lap around the track to show you, and that is driven by none other than Masa, your step winner for step number 3. Here we go then, on board with the Berlin International Gaming player. Uphill plastic turn, make sure to get up to second gear and to wait until second gear before turning. Then this little bowl, keep inside, then keep it very low, a bit of an angle there. Moving on to the grass then, reactor boost down through the zigzag, through the reset gate, onto the grass, and then use this jump to angle the car for the next turn, and then huge speed loss down to 150 here. Late apex for Masa, then on the ice. First left-hander, then on the right-hander. Masa going a bit on the penalty ice there, penalty snow there. Using the momentum left on the ice to get himself back on the road. Reactor boost downwards, then onto the stadium grass. Going really close to the decoration blocks. Jumping onto plastic. Keeping an inside line right here. Going really wide on the exit, make sure to keep ground contact there. Smooth transition over the hills. And small tech section, using the small hump there to orient your car. And then the identity, red boosters, reactor boosts. And then midway through, look at this. Just angling his car and then small taps of the throttle to kind of gauge your gauge your way through, and then go through the reactor ring and back down on the plastic to complete the lap and move on to lap number 2. So that is your final map for this step. Here is the full map pack. On the edge, pool party, vertigo, poolside, and launchpad. On the edge will be its final appearance here on the Grand League circuit, on the Grand League season, sorry, on step number 4. A map that was pretty interesting as well, with a precision identity that really separated the best from the rest. At least I do think so. It's an identity, again, it's very easy to clip either on the inside or to hit the pole on the outside, and which saps a lot of your momentum. At the best, if you get it perfectly, it's definitely going to be paying dividends. I saw actually Gennady practice some of it on the edge. If you manage to FS it somehow, you manage to exit with 190 speed at the finish line. So yeah, you can get a huge speed advantage of this. Then we get Pole Party on its second to last appearance, then Vertigo on its second 6-lapper use, first 6-lapper then on poolside. I'm predicting chaos on this one. We already kind of talked about it a little bit earlier in the show, but yeah, I predict that poolside identity to be chaotic, or maybe a bit more safe and more refined from Grand League players. And of course, Launchpad as a 2-lapper could be pretty interesting. In my opinion, from what I've seen in the map, I'll have to get a little bit of a feel for it and practice myself as well, because yes, we do recce laps. Even like the casters have to do like reconnaissance laps and trying to take notes sometimes, just so that we make sure we don't talk crap on our casts, right? Make sure that we don't say anything wrong. We do a little bit of fact checking and stuff like that. So yeah. So there you have it. On the edge, Pole Party, Vertigo, Poolside, Launchpad, your map pack for Step 4, which of course is happening on Sunday, November 7th at 8 PM CET. We kind of messed up the time zones last week because of the time zone change, but this time we're back on standard time. So yeah, 8 PM CET. And if you want to know the schedule for the rest of the season and how to watch !main event in the chat, you'll get the links to the schedule page of the TrackmaniaGrandLeague.com's website, as well as TrackmaniaGrandLeague.com/watch, where you'll get the summary of all the POVs you'll be able to watch in French, English, and German, as well as the global cast, of course, held by Virtual, who had a bit of a sore throat and a bit of a fever last time around. So
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I can only wish him a good recovery, and also he's has some pretty big plans. He's pretty busy this week. Let's hope that he's able to save some energy for. So I was going to say tomorrow, of course, because Brain wants to pick up the first word that comes. But yeah, of course, on Sunday. Much love to Virtual in chat, please, because I think he deserves it. And I guess that covers it for Grand League. Now we're going to be moving on to the Challengers in a little bit with our guest from the Challengers making his way onto the interview booth in a little bit. That is none other than Otak, winner of Step 3 last weekend, and currently sitting second in the standings let me check the timing tables. 685 points, around 117 points back from Mime, currently leading the standings. Now, let me just prepare the scene here, because I'm directing everything here. remember, I'm the one I'm the one that's producing the stream, so I'm the one that's supposed to do like all the Peppo G stuff. And there we go. Okay, so we are all set now. And ladies and gentlemen, here is your challenger step 3 winner right there with us. It is none other than Otsak. Good evening and welcome on the Trackmania Grand League Show. Good to see you, man. How you doing?
Hi. Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me and yeah.
All right, so I'm not gonna be the one asking questions here. As you know, you might have seen the previous episodes. It's Sinas who is in charge of asking questions, and I'm just gonna leave him on the floor and let him do the talking.
All right, Otek, welcome, and thanks for your time here. Very cool to see a Challenger player that we can interview, because, well, Challenger is very interesting to see, and right now, I can see on the general standings, you are second just behind Mime. How's the season going so far?
Well, it's going very great for me. Like, first step was very, very good. I finished like second with like something like 100 points less than Mime, which...
Yeah, you finished with 249 and Mime finished with 324.
Yeah, then second step, like, I finished 8th overall in the step, but I just tried to go with the 5x multiplayer. And I felt the run that I have not to fail, and yeah, that's sad. But week 3 I just did the same. It was unplanned. I just tried to get the 3x, but I failed the 3x, 4x, and then on the 5x I managed to take it. So it's great.
Yeah, a bit of redemption from step 2, I was guessing as well with step 2. Of course, you were playing a little bit with pace, and unfortunately, that strategy kind of backfired, and now it came together, and yeah, that was definitely a really good step for you.
Yeah, it was, because it was a map like Pulsar was a map that I trained a lot, because I just got out of surgery this week, and I had a lot of time to train, so I just put a lot of time into the map, and yeah, it went great. I just play my game, and the step went very great for me.
Yeah, I mean, you had a really dominant performance not only during the during the 2-lappers, but also the 6-lappers, and yeah, that was very nice to see. You answered the question a little bit already, but maybe in a little bit more detail. We saw you DNFing basically the 2x multiplier. But then there was a 3x multiplier round where you were first and clipped the checkpoint a little bit, but that was a mistake, right? That was not on purpose.
Yeah, that was a mistake. It was not planned.
Oh, okay. So you would go for the 3x at that point instead of well, going for 4 or 5 even.
Yeah, because in my opinion, I can go every like the 3 first multiplayer maps were Pool Party, Vertigo, and Poolside, which were maps where I was very good on it for me, and I just were like, okay, I don't go for the 2x because I know I get the pace to get a higher multiplayer, and even on Pool Party and the Poolside, I just start to play in the 3x to get it, and yeah, and hope to get the 3x and not go into 5x.
Yeah, well, we did go to 5x, but luckily you got it in the end, which gave you an insane step. In the next weeks, will we see more DNS from you on the 2x multipliers?
No, because that's not a map that suits me very well, I'd say, because there is a nice part, and the identity, is like a kind of a Quidditch part. And
You're right. You're absolutely right.
At the moment, it does not suit me very well. But with the train, we will see. Maybe I will DNF the 3x and go for the 5x.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And now we have in the general settings, you and Mime are just well, really making a gap between you and the rest of the players. Is there anyone you're scared of that might catch up to you?
At the moment, I just fight for the first place. I don't look behind me because because we have a large gap, I'd say, like 200 points, I'd say, on Hydra. And yeah, I will just go for the first play and see what I can get, and yeah.
All right, so confident here, going for first. That's good to hear. How do you stack up against Mime in your eyes?
Well, I think because we have a document with the points without multiplayer, like TMGL, and we see like Mime is in first with 232 points, and I'm just behind like 223 points, and the third one is like at 163. So it's like I'm not that scared of the other player, even if the other player train as much as I did. I think we all have the same level, but on this week and the last week I just no life the entire maps, like it was crazy.
Yeah, and this training is really paying off for you. I think you and Mime are, well, in points you can see it, but also just looking at the Challenger series itself, you two are clearly, well, ahead of the rest.
I will not say like clearly, but we just put a lot of time into it, so it just pay off, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, turns out that if you train a lot, you get better at the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is going good. You mentioned a little bit already that you might not be that confident on the new map, and Barrelistic is going out. How about the rest of the season? Especially compared to Mime, do you think that Mime might be doing really well on this step, and therefore you might lose some grounds, or how is that going to pan out?
Well, the two first map is like On the Edge and Pool Party, and those two maps I think we can have a great battle, even with the 14 other players. And like the three maps, like Vertigo, Poolside, and yeah, Launchpad, I think he will be very good on it. So I'm not scared, but I think he has really how can I say it? A shot to play, you know, like something to do on it. So yeah, we'll see, but yeah.
All right, and is there any way you are particularly training for the 2x lappers versus, for the 2 lappers over the 6 lappers, or do you train in the same way?
I just focus more on the 2 lappers, obviously, but I also try to improve my pace on the other map in 6x. So there is a moment where, like yesterday and Monday, I just ran 2x, only 2x, and now I will start to focus on other maps too.
All right, and do you have any tips for players in the OGL right now trying to qualify themselves into the Challenger Series? What is the advice you can give them?
Just safe, because the times are not that good, I'd say. And just safe, and you will get a good position, I think.
All right, that's very clear. So you should focus on more consistent driving over pace in OGL, right?
Yeah, right.
All right, Geek, do you have any questions you want to ask Rotek still?
No, I think that covers pretty much everything for me, and yeah, I guess we can call it. Thank you very much for your time, Otak. That was a pleasure to actually have you on the Grand League Weekly Show. We hope to see you perform well again, of course, over the course of the season, and maybe at one point, maybe back on the show. Who knows?
Yeah, I hope so too.
Thank you very much for your time. Best of luck on Sunday.
Thanks.
Yeah. See you. Alright, that was our third and final interview for the day with Otak. And it's good to actually have Otak on the show and have him doing a live interview. It is a bit of a difference, definitely, from the interview that I had the honor of doing with Otak during the preseason, because I was doing it in native language. But yeah, it's definitely nice to see that he's towards the top of the standings, and it's I'm pretty happy overall with how the challenger is definitely cropping up, and the field is actually shaping up to be a pretty good one with a tough battle for in the top 8 itself, and of course at the lead between the two main protagonists being Mime and Otak.
Yeah, and it's good to see that they are playing so well, showing that if they do get into the TMGL, they will probably contend for the top 8 spots in TMGL itself. I mean, they are just playing really, really well, so that's always nice to see. Yeah, I feel like every year the TMGL field is getting stronger and stronger, and still we have rookies like Grenadi coming in and getting first. So yeah, there are still players out there that should be in the top 16 and that should be competing. And yeah, Mime and Otek are definitely prime examples of those type of players.
Yeah, so here are your standings after Step 3. Well, I guess I should do a bit of a recap of Step 3. So Otak has scored, well, plenty. He scored like, 370 points at the end of it. He scored 74 in the first 4 races and then won, of course, the 5x in the final round of poolside. Then on second place on this step, we had Cap. I'm reversing the letters. That's it. There you go. That's my excuse. I'm reversing the letters between Pack and Cap. But yeah, Cap, of course, from Team Oplon, finished in P2 with 168 points to his name. He won a level 4 multiplier, and then Miquacho completes the podium with 3rd place and 141 points at the end of the step for him. I think he scored 47 points. Yeah, 47 points at the end. Smooth brain trying to do calculations. I mean, sometimes it does not go well. You've pretty much heard that on the Challenger cast with Fallen. Yeah.
Never do calculations on stream. That's my tip.
Never stream and do math, and never spend too much time on the internet. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with a deficient brain like us kids. And of course, I'm kidding. Anyways, you can see the general ranking here. Mime first with 802 points. Otak up to second with 685, and Hydra completes the podium with 428 points. Cap moving up to P4 with 352, 333 points for Miquacho in P5. Evon 6 with 311. 7th place for Razi with 220 points, and 219 points for Soldier from Ox Rampotinu Melops in P8. Then, second half of the scoreboard is in order: Mosile, Snow, Link, Default, Energize, Nixontica, Fegli, and Revolution. Although it's worth noting that there is a typo in the team from Nixontica. It's RBG Esports, of course, and not RBG Esports, like a virtual harbor. I don't know how that could actually work, but yeah, of course, it's RBG Esports, the team that Nixontica joined in the week of Step 3. And yeah, for those of you wondering how the ranking is then used for the promotion/relegation, well, the top 8 will go to the final on December 18th to decide who will go to the head-to-head. 9th through 13th will play on the TMGLC versus TMGL Open on the 18th as well, just before the TMGLC final. And the bottom 3 will get automatically relegated to the Open Grand League for the next season. And of course, the next step is very much like in Trackmania Grand League this Sunday at 6 PM CET. And I guess it's time to reveal my my partner for the day, or for the cast, should I say, and it is gonna be none other than Critty, one of the Trackmania players from Vortex Gaming. He's also had a little bit of casting experience in the past. He's casted the Baltic Amateur Trackmania League a little bit earlier on in the year. And yeah, I'm looking forward to work with him. As always, I'll be revealing here on the show every time that we're going to have a brand new codecaster for the Grand League Challenger. And so that covers the Challenger proper. Now, I'll show you the week. Now, before I show you the weekly program, I guess we should do a little bit of a recap on the Open. We had Step 2 that happened, of course, during Saturday before the Trackmania Grand League's 3rd step, and here is the standing, the top 8 after the first 2 steps. So, 2 BG's drivers on the top 2. We have NR leading in front of Carl, yes, OG Carl, Skandir in P3, then 4th place for Dark from Bureau Sud Plus Competition, there you go, mouth, come on, work, there you go. Then the Darkwakes sitting in P5, Wawa in P6, Mika in P7th, and Bresso sitting in P8. So those are your top 8s. And if you actually want to check out part of the ranking, there is the top 20 up on the website, trackmaniagrandleague.com/open, to get the top 20 rankings, and they will, of course, be updated after each and every step of the Challenger. So here is your program for the week. So we're already towards the end of the show, which is crazy. Like, time flies by when you're having good guests, having good interviews, and having fun during the show. I mean, we're having fun. I hope you're having fun watching it as much as we have making it. But yeah, on Saturday, of course, Step 3 of Grand League Open at 6 p.m. If you want to participate in that, make sure you have club access and sign up in the game. And it will be very important because from Step 3 to Step 8, those steps will be used to determine your final ranking. You will not have any jokers left. So if you want to participate in the Open, the time is now. Step 3 at 6 p.m. on a Saturday. And of course, on Sunday, you will have Step 4 of Challenger at 6 p.m. CEST here on the Trackmania channel alongside Katie, and then on TMGL proper with at 8 p.m. with all the POV streams available on !main event in the chat and trackmaniagrandleague.com/watch if you want the site with the full POVs. And well, I guess that's it. We're done with the show already.
Yeah.
That's, man, 1 hour does really go fast when you think about it, doesn't it?
Well, this one definitely went really fast. So, but it was a lot of fun, and yeah, another. Can't wait for next week.
Yeah, can't wait for next week either. If you want to follow us, of course, at SinasAppel_TM on Twitter for Sinas, and as for myself, at TMGeek on Twitter, twitch.tv/TMGeek as well on Twitch. Same thing for Sinas, although admittedly he said it himself, he doesn't really stream all that much, but yeah.
Maybe I should do that again. So
yeah, if you want to keep up with
we
what
can do some self-promotion here.
If you want to keep up with what we do, Twitter is basically where we're active the most. I'll be totally honest with you. And let's see, who shall we raid? Oh, you know what? I think we shall raid a fellow colleague of ours, someone who's been casting, of course, for Pack in Grand League. What do you reckon?
All right, that sounds like a really good idea.
All right, we're going over.
You've had multiple highlights of him in the top 10 as well.
Yeah,
so,
indeed, and he deserves that more than anyone else. Knockout Wednesday, of course, he's doing right now. That's Lockers Turbo, the caster with a cast. Pardon the pun, but yeah, get better. Again, I really wish you to. I'm really looking forward to seeing when his arm is back fully operational again. Make sure to send him some love in the chat and send some mega moins from us. Thanks to Amaterasu, who is also there. Thank you very much for tuning in to episode 3 of the Weekly Show. Thank you very much. Well, this has been it from the Trackmania channel. See you on Sunday for Challenger Step 4. And as from us here for the Weekly Show, me and Sinas will see you next week. Have a good one, guys.
Good night.